This is my girlfriend's old BMW, and quite recently she decided that she wants to sell it. But there is a problem. She won't get much for it in its current condition. But for a 20-year-old car with insanely low mileage that runs and drives fine, with a custom red leather interior, keyless entry, and even rear parking sensors, I just can't let her miss the opportunity to sell it for a lot more. So today, I'm going to fix and clean up everything I can while staying on a budget, and by the end of this, see if I can flip it for much more than it's worth right now. So right now I'm checking the current prices of these models in my country, and currently they're going for 15 to 2,500 euros. But the biggest downside is that all of them have high mileage and lack features that my girlfriend's car has. For example, the most expensive one listed doesn't even have leather seats, a keyless entry or parking sensors, and it just looks pretty to be honest. So I strongly believe that after I give it the care it needs, I can sell it for a lot more. So firstly, let me point out the things we need to get taken care of. Even though the car is mechanically sound, it needs cosmetic work done to make it more appealing. Like restoring the front headlight to its almost factory appearance, peeling off the old tint of the windows that turned wavy and blurry over time, replace the inner fender and buy a new fog lamp because the old one was ripped out along with half of the fender when we accidentally hit a fox on the road. I think it was trying to commit some kind of insurance fraud. Then we'll just have to replace the gear shifter to a fresher one, give it a very good wash, and finally list it for sale. But before we start working on the car, let me take you to my new garage. Right, so the first thing I want to take care of is the loose film on the rear window and on the rear side windows too. Now, I've never removed a car window tint in my life. Turns out you can't just rip it off. Otherwise, it'll leave a ton of glue residue and small bits of the film itself. But with a little help from the internet, it says I needed some ethanol or window cleaner spray, a razor blade, and a heat gun. So it happens that one of my friends owns a heat gun. I borrowed one of his heat guns for today, and we're gonna use double-edged blades that I bought in the grocery store. That's basically to remove any residue from the old glue. And I have my little helper over here, Glass Cleaner Ultra. This is actually going to be my first time ever doing this, so let's get cracking. We're gonna start with the rear window first. To begin removing the tint film, I had to unscrew 2 screws on both sides and then remove the plastic panels covering the window. Then I took the heat gun and started blowing the warm air carefully on the film so I don't melt it or anything, while slowly trying to rip it off in sections. The next thing I did was clean the outside of the window so I can clearly see the glue residue, and me, that's a lot of glue. Then I took some white spirit and a microfiber towel and started rubbing it in. But after like 15 minutes of non-stop masturbating one side, it finally came out clean-ish. The towel was doing the job, but not quickly or efficiently enough. I needed something slightly rougher, so I went to a nearby store and bought some super fine great steel wool and worked it in really carefully with the white spirit to not leave any swirls or scratches on the window. After that, I cleaned everything with a microfiber towel and some window spray, put everything back together, and look at these results. Just a reminder, this is the before and after. To anyone who's saying there are scratches or streaks visible, don't worry, this is all on the outside of the glass. And now we have crystal clear visibility in the back. So now we have 2 windows left. I basically repeated the same process as I did with the rear window, but the upside here was that I could use the razor blades to remove the adhesive a lot faster, which I couldn't use at the beginning because I could have damaged the defrosters. After almost scraping off the entire glue, my low IQ monkey brain noticed an inappropriate similarity and was super excited about it. Anyways, I cleaned the window and it took me less than 10 minutes to make it look like this. And yeah, the streaks and scratches, that's on the other side, buddy. Stop bothering me. The last window was slightly trickier because I had to remove the rubber seal, unclip the door panel, but after that, it all went like butter. And after roughly 8 minutes, this is the before, and this is the after. It would have cost my girlfriend like $100 to remove all of these in a shop, but by doing it myself, I spent only $5 for the materials, 2 hours of my time, and accomplished pretty good results. So the next thing I wanted to take care of is the broken inner fender and the fog lamp, but because I didn't have the replacement parts, I had to order them from the used parts website. I found the whole fog lamp with the plastic mounting and the light bulb included for just $7 and the brand new inner fender for just $10. So I ordered them. And while we wait for them to arrive, next on the menu was this nasty looking headlight. Now because I had never restored headlights before and I knew that you can easily damage them if you do it wrong, so I had to call up someone who could show me how it's done.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here, and today I'm gonna show you how to...
So I bought a DIY headlight restoration kit for like $15, and it has all the necessary things to get your headlight looking from this to this. We start with sanding, then we polish, and then we protect. So the kit itself included a sticky handle with a polishing pad, 800 to 2000 grit sandpaper, some polishing compound, a soft napkin with some protective liquid, and some masking tape. First, I cleaned the entire headlight with water to remove all the dirt before sanding, and oh Jesus, it was gross. After that, I wiped it off with a dry microfiber towel. Then I used the masking tape to cover the surrounding areas so I wouldn't damage the clear coat. Once that was done, I grabbed an 800 grit sandpaper pad, sprayed some water over it, and started sanding the entire surface evenly. After about 8 minutes, I switched to a 1200 grit paper, and lastly the 2000 grit paper. After that, they're supposed to fog up like this, and that's when you start polishing them, to bring back that factory look. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't as easy as it looked on YouTube. It definitely took a lot of elbow grease, but after about 10 minutes, this is what the headlight looked like. Alright, I have a confession to make. I wasn't really satisfied with how the headlight turned out. I mean, I couldn't say that the polish kit that I bought for the headlights was good. Maybe I wasn't doing enough, but when I tried polishing the headlight by hand, it was really time consuming, and it required, well, a lot of energy, you know. So I bought this kit for $7. So we have a wool pad over here and we have a poly sponge. And I borrowed this from my brother. So we just attach this over here, tighten that up, place this one here, and voila. We have ourselves a polishing machine. I'm gonna repolish the bad one over here, and I'm also gonna polish this one, even though it looks good, but still wanna remove the scratches and give it a more fresher look. So I started polishing the headlight with the same polish compound that came in with the repair kit, and I wish I did this sooner, because not only it was faster, but the difference it was making was night and day. I could see it getting a million times better as I was doing this. Then I polished the left headlight too, wiped them both with a wet microfiber towel, then used the dry one, took the protective liquid and buffed it into both headlights. And just look at them now. I know it's not ideal, but this was my first time doing this, and the places that do these kind of restorations would charge my girlfriend at least $100 for both headlights. So I definitely saved her a lot of money here. And now that those nasty headlights are taken care of, the replacement parts I ordered have arrived, so we can finally start replacing the inner fender and installing the new fog lamp. Alright, we're gonna remove the front right tire so I can replace the fog lamp and the old inner fender with this new one I bought. And this time we're continuing work outside because we have a very lovely weather. It's not very often we have this very good weather, so we gotta make it count. Now, before removing the entire wheel, I first had to loosen up the bolts while the car was still standing on the ground, and it wasn't an easy task.
Лай меня машина.
Mechanics always using their guns to dead seal these things. You should not be doing this. You can use the gun, but if you want to do the final seal, I mean, do it by hand because, well, they're just ruining the bolts. Just for your information, my girlfriend had her tires replaced at a repair shop once, so that's why I was struggling so much trying to remove the bolts with a torque wrench. Alright, so we removed the wheel. Now we're gonna remove the inner fender. To remove the inner fender, I had to unscrew 5 bolts from the inside and 3 bolts that were located on the bottom of the front bumper. Out with the old. Look at the difference. Amen. By the way, show them where are we doing this. Little guys, if you don't have a garage, just go to a little parking lot. Then I proceeded to remove the broken fog lamp mount and began mounting the new one, which luckily for me was a perfect fit. Alright, so we put the new fog lamp, but before we put the inner fender we have to check if it works, because otherwise it's gonna be all for nothing. Yeah, boy. And with the fog lamp working, all that's left is to put the new fender in. And just like that, we're officially done with replacing the most damaged parts, so now we can move towards the finishing touches before finally listing it for sale. Which is getting the car clean, because right now it's looking like Satan took a massive in it. Honestly, this is my least and at the same time most favorite part of all. I hate having to use self-service car washes every time I want to clean my cars because it's really time consuming. A tunnel car wash would be faster, but I don't trust them since they always seem to mess up the paint job. But the before and after comparison is totally worth it. It always makes me So after washing and vacuuming the entire car, I took it back inside my garage to get the whole interior properly cleaned. I started by wiping off all of the dirt and dust on the trims and panels using a microfiber towel and some interior cleaning spray. Then I cleaned all of the windows from the inside with a glass cleaner spray and a fresh microfiber towel. And just to show you how determined I am, I even took out the front carpets and detailed them using a special carpet brush I bought off Temu for just $1. And I even cleaned the entire pedal bay. I mean, it wasn't on my to-do list, but I guess I did it anyways, just for pure satisfaction of watching it on high speed. At this stage, the car was already looking a million times better, and honestly, I even had thoughts of not selling it after I've worked on it for so long, but at the end, this is my girlfriend's car, not mine, so it has to go. But before listing the car for sale, we still have a few more important things to take care of. Alright, so we're finally done with the whole cleaning and detailing stuff. The car looks a lot better now, it's a lot fresher. So now I'm going to change the gear shifter knob. Right now it's all yellowish, the plastic has come off, and well, it looks old and nasty. It turns out that I've managed to find a replacement on Temu for just $4. Just look at this thing, it looks brand new and it's basically identical to the one we have right now. So basically you put it in fourth and now you just have to pull. And it has to come off like this. Oh, that was fairly easy. So out with the old and in with the new. I really hope I don't break any gears or anything. And voila! We have ourselves a fresher gear shifter knob. But for an even fresher look, we had to replace one final broken part inside the car before actually selling it. Now the old center vent is really messed up. These parts are completely broken. It's also missing this piece on this right side, so we had to replace the whole thing entirely. But finding a replacement was a bit of a hassle because of how old this car was. But luckily for me, I found a local dude who was selling a used one for just $20 and it looked almost brand new. Just so it happens, it's super convenient that it also has these buttons on it, so I just basically have to remove the old one, unplug any electrical wires and just connect this one and it's done. So here's the wiring that's connecting all the buttons over here. I'll just have to disconnect it and connect the new one. Easy peasy. Or at least I thought it was going to be an easy job. As soon as I removed it, I had to find a way to somehow unplug the wiring. I spent 15 minutes trying to figure out how to unplug it without damaging it. And finally, after another 15 minutes, I still didn't unplug it. And because I was working outside of my garage, I didn't have any proper tools to do it. I had to call up my girlfriend for some help. At first I thought I was going to use the sharper knife to somehow disconnect a clip that was holding the wires, but that didn't work, so I had to remove the entire block with the buttons in it. And after removing the entire block, I noticed a small pin that I had to click on in order to disconnect the wires. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. That was it? That was the entire thing holding everything together. Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? I spent 30 minutes just to unclip this microscopic piece of and just like that, out with the old and in with the new. And now I can finally take pictures of the car and list it for sale. Some of you might think this is the easiest part of all, but it's not. If you're selling a car and your pictures look like this, well, good luck to you, buddy. After taking the most professional pictures possible on my iPhone 12, I immediately went home, wrote up a brief description pointing out all of the important things in the car, and posted it on Facebook Marketplace for 3,200 euros. And all that's left to do now is to wait for the offers to come in.
There is a potential buyer for the BMW.
Sveiki, turbūt jūs būtumėt, ne? Sorry for the overly dramatic music there. So it's been a week since I listed the car for sale and I wasn't getting any serious offers. There were a few, but people were just trying to lowball the hell out of us. Until today. Basically, a guy calls me and he says that he wants to check out the BMW. But as soon as they arrived, it turned out that there were 3 of them, 2 guys and 1 girl. At first, the whole situation felt sketchy because I was completely alone and I had never had more than 2 people show up to look at a car before. But it turned out that the 2 guys were just helping the girl buy a car since she wasn't really a car person. And they really wanted to record the whole interaction because we went for like a 30-minute test drive. They were inspecting the car from top to bottom, and they even brought their own OBD scanner to check for any fault codes. These guys definitely knew what they were doing. But at the same time, I didn't want to shove a camera in their faces and risk losing the sale. But despite all that, she really liked the car and she was willing to buy it. Since I had it listed for 3,200, they negotiated me down to 3,000 euros. And we shook hands on the deal. So my girlfriend's old BMW is officially sold. And you're probably wondering right now whether the whole prep work before selling it was actually worth it. Absolutely. At the beginning of this video, I showed you similar BMWs that weren't selling for more than 2,500 euros. I ended up selling it for 3,000 euros. That's at least 500 more than it would have been worth before I fixed it up. And the best part? I only spent $72 replacing all of the broken parts, restoring the headlights, and giving the car a full detail. At a repair shop, all of that would cost my girlfriend at least 500 euros. I call that a pretty good return on investment. Now I have an important announcement for everyone who's been around for a while. Especially those of you who have been following my Flipping Cars Until I Buy My Dream Car series. I just wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten about it. The reason I haven't been uploading as frequently is that these videos take a ton of time to film and edit. Over the past several months, I've mostly been working on Whistling Diesel's videos. For example, the Cybertruck Durability Test Free took us almost 2 months to finish because it was such a massive project and we were working under a really tight deadline. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Although most of the intro got cut out because of a copyright claim on the music. So the 6 hours I spent making that intro was basically for nothing. Yeah, stuff like that happens on YouTube. Now the plan for my channel. I will definitely keep uploading the car flipping series, just not as often as you would expect them to be. Funny enough though, as I am filming this, I am actually sitting inside my next potential flip. But you'll have to wait for the next episode to see how it turns out. Including an update on the BMW X3 with the blown engine. Now, in the ideal world, I would like to squeeze in at least 1 video per month, but I don't want to make any promises, so I guess time will tell. I've also got a bunch of different type of video ideas that I really want to make. I want to try something new without limiting myself to just one type of content, so you'll be seeing those soon enough. But for now, go tell your mom I said hello.
It's time that we let him go.